The massive alien ships appeared in Earth's sky, like dark clouds blocking out the sun. Admiral Kim Tae sat in his command chair aboard the human warship Freedom, watching the enemy fleet through the main viewing screen. His hands gripped the armrest tightly as he counted the vessels, more than he had ever seen in one place. "Sir, they're sending us a message," said Officer Parkman, her voice shaking slightly. She was young, barely 25, and had never seen real combat before today. The screen flickered and changed. A tall alien creature appeared, covered in dark metal armor that gleamed under bright lights. It had 4 glowing red eyes and spoke in perfect human language. "I am Commander Thrain of the Great Empire. We have conquered 1,000 worlds across the galaxy. Your planet Earth is now under our control. You have 3 days to surrender all your weapons and military ships. You must also give us 30% of your people to work as slaves in our mines and factories. If you agree, we will let the rest of you live. If you refuse, we will destroy your entire world." The alien's voice was cold and emotionless, like a machine reading instructions. Behind him, the bridge of his ship stretched far into the distance, filled with other creatures working at strange controls. Kim Tae looked around at his crew. They were all staring at the screen with wide eyes. Some looked scared, others looked angry, but none of them looked ready to give up. "Sir, President Lee is calling from Earth Command," Parkman reported. The screen split in half. On one side was the alien commander, waiting for an answer. On the other side was President Lee Soo, an older woman with gray hair and tired eyes. She had led Earth through many difficult times, but nothing like this. "Admiral Kim," President Lee said quietly, "I've spoken with all the world leaders. We've made our decision." Kim Tae nodded slowly. He had served under President Lee for 10 years and respected her more than anyone else alive. "What are your orders, Madam President?" "Tell them no." The simple word hung in the air like a challenge. Around the bridge, the crew members straightened up in their seats. Even young Park men seemed to find new courage. Kim Tae turned back to face the alien commander. "Commander Thrain, I have Earth's answer to your demands." The alien leaned forward slightly, probably expecting another quick surrender like all the other worlds he had conquered. "Earth refuses your ultimatum," Kim Tae said clearly. "We will not surrender our weapons. We will not give you our people. And we will not bow down to your empire. If you want our world, you'll have to fight for it." For a moment, Commander Thrain just stared. His 4 red eyes blinked slowly, as if he couldn't understand what he had just heard. "You refuse?" the alien asked. "No world has ever refused. Do you not understand what this means? We have ships that can burn your cities to ash. We have weapons that can crack your planet in half. Your primitive technology cannot stand against the might of our empire." Kim Tae stood up from his command chair. Behind him, every member of his crew was also standing. Through the communication system, he could hear similar responses from ships across Earth's defense fleet. "Maybe you're right," Kim Tae said. "Maybe we can't win. Maybe our ships are too small and our weapons too weak. But here's something you should know about humans. We don't give up just because the odds are bad. We've been fighting impossible battles for thousands of years. And sometimes we even win." President Lee stepped forward on her side of the screen. "Commander Thrain, let me make this very clear. Earth is not like the other worlds you've conquered. We are not going to kneel. We are not going to beg. We are going to fight you with everything we have. And if we die, we'll make sure you remember the cost." The alien commander's expression changed. The confident look in his 4 eyes was replaced by something else. Confusion, and perhaps the first hint of worry. "You are making a terrible mistake," Thrain said slowly. "I will give you one more chance. Surrender now or face complete destruction." Kim Tae looked at his crew one more time. Parkman gave him a small nod. The weapons officer, a tough man named Choi Jun, cracked his knuckles. Even the ship's doctor, Dr. Yanghai, had moved to the bridge to stand with them. "Our answer remains the same," Kim Tae said firmly. "No." The communication ended abruptly. The alien ships began to move closer to Earth, their weapons powering up with bright flashes of energy. "All ships, this is Admiral Kim." He broadcast the entire defense fleet. They wanted an answer, and we gave them one. Now let's show them what happens when someone threatens humanity's home. The first shots of the war lit up the darkness of space like deadly fireworks. Earth's smaller ships moved to meet the enemy, outnumbered but not outmatched in courage. The battle for humanity's survival had begun. Commander Thrain stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the small human ships move toward his fleet. He almost felt sorry for them. In 300 years of conquest, he had seen this same scene play out on countless worlds. The brave defenders would charge forward, fight desperately for a few hours, then surrender when they realized how hopeless their situation was. Deploy, only strike Group 7, he told his second-in-command. 20 ships should be more than enough to teach these humans a lesson. His aide looked surprised. Only 20 ships, Commander? Intelligence reports show they have over 200 vessels. Thrain made a sound that was almost like laughter. Their largest ship is smaller than our smallest fighter. This will be over in minutes. Captain Choi Jun gripped the controls of his fighter as he led the first wave of human ships toward the alien fleet. His heart was pounding, but his hands were steady. Behind him flew 50 other pilots, all volunteers who knew they probably wouldn't survive the day. Phoenix Squadron, this is your leader. Choi spoke into his radio. Remember what we practiced. Stay fast, stay low, and make every shot count. The alien ships moved forward like giant metal whales, their weapons charging with blue light. They were beautiful in a terrifying way, smooth and perfect like deadly works of art. Incoming! Shouted his wingman Li Du. The space around them exploded with alien plasma bolts. Choi twisted his fighter hard to the right, feeling the heat from a near miss. 2 human ships behind him weren't so lucky. They disappeared in brilliant flashes of light. But something unexpected happened. The human fighters were much faster and more agile than the aliens had expected. They darted between the enemy ships like angry wasps, too quick for the heavy weapons to track properly. "I'm getting a lock on their bridge," called out Pilot Park, from somewhere in the chaos. "No good," Choi replied, watching his missiles bounce harmlessly off the alien shields. "Their defenses are too strong." Then he had an idea that would have terrified any sane person. "All fighters," this is Phoenix leader, "when your weapons run out, use your ships." "Sir," Li Du sounded confused. "Ram them. Full speed into their bridges and weapon systems. If we're going to die anyway, let's make it count." On the alien flagship, Thrain watched in disbelief as the human fighters suddenly changed their attack pattern. Instead of retreating when their missiles failed, they accelerated directly toward his ships. "What are they doing?" his aide asked. The first human fighter smashed into a bridge of an alien destroyer at full speed. The explosion tore a massive hole in the ship's hull. Then another fighter hit, and another. "They're using their ships as weapons," Thrain said quietly. "Impossible. No species has ever." His words were cut off as 12 human fighters struck his own ship simultaneously. The flagship shook violently, and alarms began blaring throughout the bridge. Down on Earth's surface, Colonel Han Du was leading the defense of Seoul when the alien landing ships arrived. The creatures that emerged were twice the size of humans, covered in thick armor and carrying weapons that could melt steel. "Fall back to prepared positions," Han ordered his troops. "Let them come to us." The aliens advanced confidently through the city streets, expecting quick victory. But Han and his soldiers had spent months preparing for this moment. Every building was booby-trapped. Every alley was a kill zone. When the first alien patrol rounded a corner, they walked straight into a minefield that Han's engineers had built from old artillery shells. The explosion echoed through the city like thunder. "Now!" Han shouted. Human soldiers appeared on rooftops and in windows, firing everything they had at the confused aliens below. When their bullets couldn't penetrate the enemy armor, they threw homemade bombs and Molotov cocktails. When those ran out, they used whatever they could find. Dr. Yang Hai worked frantically in her underground laboratory, studying pieces of alien technology that the military had recovered from crashed ships. She had been a weapons engineer before the war, but nothing had prepared her for this. "The power source is incredible," she told General Park over the radio. "If we can figure out how it works, we could make our weapons much stronger." "How long do you need?" The general asked. "Give me 12 hours, and I'll give you plasma rifles," she promised. Back in space, Commander Thrain stared at the damage reports in shock. His simple demonstration had cost him 5 ships and hundreds of crew members. The humans had lost more ships, but they had fought like nothing he had ever encountered before. "Sir, the human admiral is requesting to speak with you," his communications officer reported. Admiral Kim appeared on the screen, his uniform torn and his face covered in soot from battle damage to his own ship. "Commander Thrain," Kim said calmly, "I hope you enjoyed our warm welcome. That was just the opening act." Thrain's 4 eyes narrowed. "You have accomplished nothing. We barely use 1/10 of our fleet." Kim smiled, but it wasn't a friendly expression. "Then you'd better bring the rest, because we're just getting started." The communication ended, leaving Thrain alone with the uncomfortable realization that these humans were unlike any enemy he had ever faced. They fought like they had nothing to lose and everything to gain. For the first time in his long military career, he felt genuinely worried about the outcome of a battle. Commander Thrain paced back and forth on his bridge, staring at the casualty reports. What should have been a quick victory was turning into a costly mess. He had lost 12 ships in the past week, and the humans seemed to be getting stronger instead of weaker. "Send strike groups 3, 4, and 5, he ordered angrily. 100 ships. Crush them completely. His aide hesitated. "Sir, perhaps we should study their tactics more carefully. They fight very differently from other species we have conquered." Thrain's 4 eyes blazed with fury. "They are primitive creatures with primitive weapons. Numbers will solve this problem." Deep beneath the ruins of Tokyo, Dr. Yang Hai worked by the light of emergency lamps. Around her, pieces of alien technology covered every table and workbench. She had been working for 3 days straight, surviving on coffee and determination. "The plasma conduits are the key," she muttered to herself, "connecting human wires to alien power cells. If I can just stabilize the energy flow." Sparks flew from her improvised device, and then suddenly it hummed to life. The hybrid weapon in her hands glowed with blue energy, human engineering combined with alien technology. "General Park, this is Dr. Yang." She spoke into her radio with excitement. "I've done it. We can make weapons that use their own technology against them." "How quickly can you mass produce them?" came the reply. "Give me every engineer and factory worker in the city. We'll have 1,000 hybrid weapons ready in 48 hours. Above ground, Captain Choi Jun led a group of volunteers on a dangerous mission. They had stolen a small alien transport ship during the last battle, and now they were flying it deep into enemy territory. "Remember, we look like them from a distance," Choi told his team. "Keep your helmets on and act confident." Their target was an alien supply depot on the dark side of the moon. The enemy had been using it to refuel their ships and store weapons. If they could destroy it, the alien fleet would have to rely on supplies from their home worlds, supplies that would take weeks to arrive. Lee Du, now Choi's second in command, checked his equipment one more time. "What if they realize we're humans? Then we blow everything up and take as many of them with us as possible." Choi replied simply. The alien base was massive, built into the crater walls with gleaming metal structures. Automated defenses surrounded it, but they didn't fire on the approaching transport ship. The stolen alien identification codes were working perfectly. "Landing Base 7 is clear," reported the base controller in the alien language that Choi had spent weeks learning. "Proceed for docking." As their ship touched down, Choi could see alien workers moving cargo containers and refueling other vessels. None of them suspected that 12 human commandos had just landed in the heart of their operation. "Spread out," Choi whispered. "Plant the charges on the fuel storage tanks. We have 10 minutes before they expect us to report in." Meanwhile, Lieutenant Commander Yoon So led Earth's first major counterattack. Her ship, the Revenge, had been completely rebuilt using salvaged alien technology. Its weapons were human-designed plasma cannons powered by alien energy cores. Its shields were a hybrid system that her engineers claimed was actually better than the original alien version. "Target their flagship," she ordered her crew. "Let's see how they like fighting an equal opponent." The Revenge struck like lightning, appearing from behind an asteroid and firing everything it had at the alien command ship. The enemy's shields flared and sparked under the unexpected assault. Impossible! Commander Thrain shouted as his ship shook from multiple impacts. How do they have weapons that can penetrate our defenses? His aide was frantically checking sensor readings. Sir, their technology appears to be based on our own designs, but somehow improved. Their targeting systems are more accurate. Their power efficiency is higher. You're telling me that these primitives have made our weapons better than we can? Thrain roared. Before the aide could answer, another human ship appeared, then another. Soon a dozen hybrid vessels were attacking the alien fleet from all directions, using tactics that no computer could predict. On Earth, the war had transformed human society completely. Every factory was now producing weapons or ship parts. Every laboratory was working on new ways to fight the aliens. Even children were helping, collecting scrap metal and electronic components for the war effort. Student Kim so sat in her university workshop, surrounded by alien power cells and human-made explosives. At 19, she had become one of Earth's most skilled bomb makers, creating compact fusion devices that could destroy alien ships from the inside. The key is the timing circuit, she explained to a group of younger students. Too fast, and it won't penetrate their armor. Too slow, and they'll detect it. Her latest creation was small enough to hide in a backpack, but powerful enough to level a city block. The aliens' own advanced technology, turned against them by human ingenuity and desperation. News of successful moon base raids spread quickly through the human fleet. Choi Jun and his team had not only destroyed the alien supply depot, but had also captured valuable intelligence about enemy troop movements and battle plans. They're planning a massive assault on Earth next week, Admiral Kim told his staff. 200 ships orbital bombardment, followed by a full invasion. Colonel Han smiled grimly. Good. Let them come to us. We prepared a few surprises. The tide of war was beginning to turn, but the greatest battles still lay ahead. The factory never stopped working. Day and night, the sound of hammering and welding echoed to the converted automobile plant in Detroit. Where cars had once been built, now deadly hybrid weapons rolled off the assembly line every few minutes. 16-year-old Park Ji worked alongside her grandmother, installing targeting systems into plasma rifles. Her small fingers were perfect for the delicate wiring that connected human computers to alien power cores. Grandmother, why do the aliens' weapons work better when we fix them? Park Ji asked as she twisted two wires together. The old woman smiled sadly. Because we fight for our home, child. They fight because someone told them to. Across the galaxy, Captain Nam Jin stood on the bridge of a liberated alien ship, watching his former slaves learn to use their master's weapons. The planet Kepler, 442b, had been under alien control for 50 years. Its people forced to mine precious metals for the Empire. The key is to hit fast and disappear. Nam explained to a group of alien rebels who looked like giant lizards with 6 arms. Don't try to fight their big ships directly. Target their supply convoys, their communication stations, their fuel depots. One of the lizard creatures raised 2 of its arms. But, Captain Nam, we have never fought before. We have been slaves since birth. That's exactly why you'll win, Nam replied. You know how they think. You know their weaknesses. And most importantly, you want freedom more than they want to keep you enslaved. The rebellion was spreading faster than anyone had expected. Every planet that Earth's forces liberated became a new base for training more rebels. The aliens had ruled through fear for so long that they had forgotten how to deal with people who refused to be afraid. Back on Earth, the planet looked nothing like it had 6 months ago. Every city was now a fortress. Every citizen was a soldier. Children too young to fight worked in factories. Elderly people who couldn't hold weapons served as scouts and messengers. Teacher Lim Hae had been retired for 10 years when the war started. Now she ran a network of civilian volunteers who watched the skies for alien ships and coordinated evacuations when attacks came. Mrs. Chun, this is Lim Hae. She spoke into her radio from her position on a Seoul rooftop. 3 alien fighters heading toward the eastern districts. Get everyone into the shelters. Below her, the city moved like a well-trained army. People disappeared into underground tunnels that connected every building. Within minutes, the streets were empty except for hidden gun positions and bomb traps. The alien fighters found no targets except empty buildings and silent streets. When they landed to investigate, they walked straight into carefully prepared ambushes. Admiral Kim Tae stood before the United Earth Council, his uniform bearing the scars of countless battles. Behind him, a holographic map showed the current state of the war. Red dots marked alien-controlled systems, while green dots showed liberated worlds. The green dots were spreading. The enemy controls 800 systems, he reported, but 60 of those are now in open rebellion. Their supply lines are breaking down. Their troops are fighting on too many fronts. President Lee Soo leaned forward in her chair. What do you need from us, Admiral? More ships, more weapons, more people willing to take the fight to the enemy's home territory. Kim's eyes were hard as steel. We're not just defending Earth anymore. We're liberating the galaxy. The transformation was complete when young Kim So, the university bomb maker, presented her latest creation to General Park Sung. It was a device no bigger than a briefcase, but it contained enough power to destroy an entire alien city. We call it the Liberation Device, she explained proudly. It uses their own fusion technology, but we've made it 10 times more efficient. One of these can level their command centers, their shipyards, their government buildings. General Park stared at the weapon with mixed feelings. Kim, so you're 19 years old. You should be studying literature or mathematics, not building weapons of mass destruction. The young woman's expression grew serious. General, when I was a child, I wanted to be a teacher like my mother, but the aliens took that choice away from me. So now I choose to give other children a chance to grow up free. In the depths of space, Commander Thrain read intelligence reports that painted an increasingly desperate picture. Human forces were appearing throughout his empire, training rebellions, sharing technology, turning his own conquered peoples against him. How many ships have we lost this month? He asked his aide quietly. 37 confirmed destroyed, sir. But the real problem is not the ships we've lost. It's the ships we can't use anymore because we need them to guard supply lines and put down rebellions. Thrain's eyes dimmed with exhaustion. And the humans? Their fleet grows stronger every day. They're building new ships faster than we can destroy them. And, sir, they're no longer just defending. Our outer colonies report human battle groups attacking our shipyards and military bases. For the first time in his long career, Thrain realized he might be losing a war. The humans had done something no other species had managed. They had turned his empire's size and complexity against itself. The fire that had started on one small blue planet was now burning across the stars, and there seemed to be no way to put it out. The final battle began at the edge of the hegemony's capital system. Admiral Kim Tae stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the largest fleet in human history prepare for assault. Ships from dozens of liberated worlds flew alongside her vessels, all united under banner of freedom. Admiral, we have visual contact with the enemy fleet, reported Captain Parkman, now commanding her own destroyer after years of fighting. They have everything, their entire home defense force plus reinforcements from across the Empire. Kim nodded grimly. The alien fleet stretched across space like a metal wall, thousands of ships arranged in perfect formation. It was the most powerful force ever assembled in galactic history, and they were about to attack it with everything humanity and its allies could gather. All ships. This is Admiral Kim. He broadcast the massive liberation fleet. Today we end 300 years of slavery and fear. Today we show the universe that no empire, no matter how strong, can defeat the will of free people. All ships, attack formation. Let's finish this. The space between the two fleets erupted in brilliant explosions of light and energy. Human-designed fusion torpedoes, improved far beyond their alien origins, tore through enemy shields like paper. Ships from liberated worlds used weapons that combined technologies from dozens of conquered species, creating combinations the hegemony had never seen before. Captain Choi Jun, now a squadron leader, led his fighters in a desperate charge against an alien dreadnought. His ship had been rebuilt so many times that it was more alien technology than human, but it fought with purely human determination. "Phoenix Squadron, target their weapon systems," he commanded. "Remember what we learned. They can't track fast-moving targets if you stay below their firing threshold." His fighters swarmed around the massive enemy ship like angry insects, striking at critical systems and vanishing before the heavy weapons could lock on. It was a tactic born from humanity's early desperation, refined through years of constant warfare. On the alien flagship, Commander Thrain watched his empire die around him. Ship after ship fell to the liberated forces, and every loss weakened his remaining vessels. The humans had learned to fight like a pack of wolves, coordinating their attacks to overwhelm individual targets. "Sir, they're breaking through our outer defensive line," his aide reported, fear clear in his voice. "Our casualty rate is 3 times higher than projected." "How is this possible?" Thrain demanded. "We have superior numbers, superior technology, superior training." "Sir, respectfully, I don't think we do anymore. They've taken our technology and made it better. Their weapons are more powerful. Their shields are stronger. Their tactics are more flexible." The aide was right, and Thrain knew it. The humans had done something unprecedented in galactic history. They had learned from their enemies and surpassed them. Dr. Yonghai, now Director of Weapons Development for the Liberation Alliance, watched the battle from her command ship's laboratory. Around her, teams of scientists from 20 different species worked together, combining their knowledge to create new weapons in real time. "The enemy flagship shields are adapting to our plasma frequency," reported one of her assistants, a former slave from the mining worlds. "Then we change frequency," Yang replied calmly. "Broadcast a new setting to all ships. Let's see how fast they can adapt to continuous modifications." It was pure human thinking. Instead of building one perfect weapon, build weapons that could change and improve during battle. The aliens' rigid technology couldn't match human adaptability. The breakthrough came when Captain Nam Jin led a combined assault on the Hegemony's command center. His ship, crewed by humans and aliens fighting side by side, punched through the enemy's final defensive line. "Landing parties. Prepare for boarding action," Nam announced. "Colonel Han Du, you have authorization to take the enemy flagship." Colonel Han, now a general after years of ground combat, led 300 Marines onto the alien command ship. They fought through corridors filled with desperate enemy soldiers, using weapons that perfectly combined human creativity with alien power. The final confrontation took place on the bridge of Thrain's flagship. The alien commander stood alone, his armor cracked and smoking, surrounded by the wreckage of his once mighty empire. "You cannot destroy what we have built," Thrain said as Han approached. "We have ruled for 3 centuries. We have conquered 1,000 worlds." Han removed his helmet, showing a face scarred by years of warfare, but eyes still filled with hope. "Commander Thrain, we're not destroying your empire. We're freeing it." The plasma rifle in Han's hands was a perfect symbol of the war. Alien technology improved by human engineering, powered by the determination of free people. "Your empire demanded submission," Han continued. "But you forgot something important about intelligent beings. We don't stay down when we're knocked down. We get back up, we learn, and we become stronger." The shots that ended Thrain's life echoed across the communications networks of 100 worlds, carrying news that the hegemony had finally fallen. President Lee Su, now in her 70s but still sharp, addressed the first meeting of the Galactic Freedom Alliance from Earth's rebuilt capital. 300 years ago, an empire spread across the stars through fear and violence, she declared to representatives from 200 liberated worlds. Today, that empire is gone, replaced by something better, an alliance built on cooperation, mutual respect, and the simple idea that all intelligent beings deserve to be free. The small blue planet that had refused to kneel had become the heart of galactic civilization, proving that even the mightiest empire could fall when faced with the unbreakable spirit of free people fighting for their homes.